Hello, and what's up guys? David here once again for another video. Today, I am here in front of Blue JC and also Smurf that started it all. And then of course I did my 1 million subscriber video talking about the story of how we got to 1 subscriber to 1 million. So if you want to check that out, here is a link in the card wherever that is. But I figured we could do something really laid back today, really chill, and do an AMA. So what I did was I went on our YouTube community tab on the Thatdudeinblue YouTube channel, and I said, send in your questions and I'll answer as many as I can. Side note, on June 2nd, I will be at Caffeine and Octane here in Atlanta, Georgia. There's average of 18,000 people at Caffeine and Octane and amazing cars, and I'm going to be at the Capital One booth. So make sure to stop by and we'll have a great time and hang out. What do you think about the new GT500 not having a manual transmission? What project car causes you the most stress and difficulty, and why review Cobalt SS? The no manual in the GT500 is a disappointment. I have to admit it. I will say that the last GT500, since they wanted that 0 to 60 time to be so low, they stretched out the gears way too long, in my opinion, on the manual transmission, but it still made it fun because it was a manual transmission. It is kind of a disappointment, but at the same time, let's see how it goes and see how quick the DCT transmission is. As for the most stress, this guy has definitely caused me a ton. Currently, my motor is being put together and the machine shop messed up and basically didn't write some stuff down. Therefore, the people who built the motor put the wrong size pistons in it because they didn't put the right things on the invoice. Stuff like that. My drift coupe, I know I talk about every now and then, and you've never seen it really on the channel ever. That keeps me up at night, literally, because it's such a complicated build. The Mustang never stresses me out, ever, essentially. The Integra was just stressful because it's annoying that a factory B series with nothing done to it has already screwed up. But that's gonna be swapped in June, so I'm not too stressed about that now. As for the no Cobalt SS, I was about to in Richmond and then it just didn't work out and I moved away. I have driven a supercharged one off camera and I've driven a turbo one off camera, but the turbo one is definitely superior in my opinion. Do you see yourself getting a no import like GTR or Supra? Also, I've seen enough of your content to know that, like me, you like lots of different cars with lots of different engines, but every car guy has that one car that refused to touch with a 10-foot pole. What's yours? As for the Supra or the GTR, I've had an opportunity to save up for an R35, but it just didn't speak to me. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things that a GTR is a fun treat. You drive it around for a couple days, you're like, that was awesome. As for the Supra, the new Supra is a lot of fun, and I think it would be a really fun project to do cosmetically, especially. I've thought about it for the future, but I'm not quite sold on it yet. So let me know if that's a possibility of you being interested, and I'll do basically what I did with Smurf and say, does it hold up or not? Because that thing's been a guinea pig for the Coyote for 110,000 miles. And as for the Mark IV Supra, I feel like I've missed the boat with that because the prices are just going too high for a 30-year-old car, in my opinion. Regardless of what you say, I have a JZ car already. I don't need another one. As for the car I won't touch with a 10-foot pole, probably the Aztec. Easy answer, but no, I'd probably do a project car with just about anything except that car. What was the hardest thing about starting up your channel? My fiance and I wanted to start for months and I love your content, so it's been a goal of mine. Thanks, David. What would be a good starter car to learn how to drive manual on? Yo, David, can you put neons on your Integra? Hardest thing about starting a YouTube channel is getting started. I know that sounds really silly, but it's sitting down, figuring out what your content wants, whatever you want your content to be, and also how your editing style is. I've established an editing format. I've established a schedule. I've established what I want Thatdudeinblue to look like. And everybody kind of knows when they get a Thatdudeinblue video, it's usually the intro that I take forever to edit, and then the car review, and then typically I do the pulls at the end. I get all the talking out of the way, and then I do all the pulls and be like, this is what it is actually like. But for my other kind of videos, those are just brainstorming. Things like Judged by Thatdudeinblue, that was me and a whiteboard. I have a whiteboard in my office of just ideas I could possibly do. I don't confirm them, but maybe I'll try it out. The Pimp My Ride series was like that too. By the way, if you want me to do more of those, let me know. Getting started is the hardest part, and sticking with it. It's all about sticking with it. I'm telling you, that's the key, is just consistent uploads. Good starter car to learn manual in: Civic, Miata. done. As I'm putting neons on the Integra, not really feeling it, but I'll probably put neons on the drift car because why not? Have you ever driven an Eclipse other than the 1G? If not, I'm working on my 3G and would like for you to review it sometime soon. Will you ever own a new Supra? What's your thoughts on the Genesis Coupe? I have a 2.0 and I love it. I've driven the 1G and I've driven a 420A 2G. I've never driven the 3G or the last one. As for the 1G, I love it. As for the 2G, I would like to drive a GSX, but I might have one in the works eventually to drive. I own a new Supra, we'll just go back to what I said earlier. My thoughts on the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. I think the Hyundai Genesis Coupe is a great starter car for Hyundai to get into the performance car world. I've driven two 2.0s and I've driven two 3.8s. And I think it's a really good opportunity for Hyundai to expand on their performance. It's stressful depending on YouTube for a large portion of your income. When will you be back in Richmond or Virginia Beach? I need to shake your hand before I die. If Thatdudeinblue was already taken, what would your name be instead? It is very stressful, to be honest with you. At the same time, you wake up in the morning and you realize that you're the luckiest man on the freaking planet. So it's a very, very double-edged sword. You have to work very, very hard. You work very long hours. I actually do a different system than most people do on YouTube. I typically film ahead of time and then I mass edit. So then I'll just be in my cave for days on end editing and then I'll just mass upload. And that's why I try not to have my videos feel like they're part of a time. I try to make them feel timeless. That way if you watch them at any time, it wouldn't be like, oh, I missed out on a vlog that took place on this day, if that makes sense. As I'm being back in Virginia, I visit maybe twice a year and that's about it. Richmond and Virginia Beach, I haven't gone back to because a lot of their car scene is pretty much gone, unfortunately. Last time I visited Virginia Beach, especially all the car meets I previously went to are gone except one called Freedom Wash. And that's the first car meet I ever went to at night. If Thatdudeinblue was already taken, I'd probably just use my name, David Patterson. Easy. Would you rather have a front-wheel drive high horsepower car or rear-wheel drive low horsepower car? What is your favorite ice cream? What are your thoughts on the Accord coupes? I just bought one myself and I think they're not appreciated as much as they should be. I would typically take the lower horsepower rear-wheel drive because you can have a lot more fun with it in theory. You can slide around and be dumb with it without really screwing up. Favorite ice cream? Cookies and cream or anything with Oreo. I know that's not car related, but you asked. The Accord coupes I find interesting, especially the ones with the J-Series engine in it. The J-Series engine I feel like is very underappreciated, and I wish we had more builds like the Odyssey that Bisimoto did. I love that kind of stuff, and they used the J-Series engine, so I think you're right, they could be appreciated more. I've never heard you talk about any Infiniti brand cars. What are your thoughts on them? Do you like any of the GQ series cars or the VQ platform itself? What's up, man? Big fan, late to the channel, found it, love to subscribe. I've played catch up with all of it. What's your dream car? If you could own any supercar, what would it be and why? Infiniti for me is one of those things that it's kind of walking on ice. I mean, the G35 and the G37 I think are great cars, but just don't straight pipe them, please. The VQs, I can't stand when they're straight piped. The Q50s, oh my God, those are nice cars. My friend Chris, you might remember with the Black Barney Evo, just got one. Unbelievably nice car, and it's pretty quick too with the turbos and everything. Unbelievably good car. I'll combine these next two questions. I mean, my dream cars are Koenigsegg's. I know that's like way out there. Foreseeable future dream car, the new GT500 is up. Out of the main three muscle cars, Mustang, Camaro, Charger, Challenger, which one is best bang for your buck? What's your opinion on the auto versus stick debate? Since we have the Supra, NSX, and GTR, do you think Mazda will make the RX-9/new RX car? That motor has treated me so well, and it's not because I'm so much of a fanboy of the Mustang brand, it's more about the engine. I mean, I've had a few friends with twin turbo Coyotes that have made over 900 horsepower on stock everything, and I can't argue with that. I've never seen that anywhere else. It uses stock cams, for God's sake. And when I did an X-pipe, a tune, and a Boss manifold, it made like 425 wheel horsepower on pump gas. It's hard not to love, man. Auto versus stick, that could be a whole video in itself, but manufacturers are going for faster lap times and faster performance 0 to 60s. That's why they do the autos, and it's consistent, and I understand that. Manual will end up being kind of the hipster thing in the future. I feel as though it's gonna be the purest thing to do. I say this a lot, but it's gonna be the record player of cars. It's gonna be like, I drive a manual because I only listen to vinyl. I think it's gonna end up that way. As for Mazda making a new RX series, please, please bring it back. I would absolutely love to see Mazda bring back a great handling platform with possibly a modernized rotary. I know that's so far-fetched, but I would be in love with that car. What's your favorite Japanese car? When are you gonna release a vid on British imports? If you were to make a second channel, not dated cars, what would you choose? Favorite Japanese car, I mean, the stereotypes really, NSX, Supra, all that kind of stuff. One that's caught my eye recently is the Pulsar GTI-R, the all-wheel drive SR20 car that just became legal here. That one's on my list to drive. I would love to drive one of those. As for British imports, I don't know enough about them, and I would have to do a lot of research for that, and I don't like making videos about things I don't claim to know. I don't ever pretend on my YouTube channel to know something I don't, and that's kind of something I vouch for people going to car events and car meets. Don't act like you know everything. And that goes for videos too. As for a second channel, I got one. Check it out in the link in the description below. What's your advice to small YouTubers who don't think they'll ever make it big? What do you think is the best stretch of road to drive in North America besides Tail the Dragon? Don't give up. Keep consistently uploading is my first answer. I know it's very simple. The best stretch of road I think I've ever driven, I would say US Route 50 in West Virginia is unbelievable. It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's freaking incredible. I love driving it, and it's one of my top roads in the country. Also, I think it's called Mount Sterling in Kentucky. That area is amazing. What's your favorite car from Fast and Furious franchise? If you love your car so much, then why don't you marry it? What's happening with the 240SX? I really like the Ford Escort that Brian drives. If I could have one of those original Escorts, I would absolutely love that. This isn't, as for the marrying thing, this is not my strange addiction. What's happening with 240SX? The head is being redone again. Like literally the entire motor was destroyed. The valve train, the pistons cracked in half, melted. That's why I'm going with an entirely new setup in general, new people, new everything. When did you first get into modifying cars? Best car under 18K, and how do you not hit people in your Mustang? It must draw a pretty big crowd. I got first into modifying cars through Need for Speed Underground. Cop out answer, I know. Best car under 18K right now is probably a C5 Corvette. That would be my bargain. You can get those for very cheap, and they're great cars, LS1 powered. As for the Mustang thing, you know, I go to a training course and taught me evasive driving. Makes me get through car meets a lot faster. How big of a difference do gear ratios make in a Mustang? Are lowered gears more fun to drive than higher geared ones? Are you going to review a Crown Vic? Are your builds sponsored, and if so, how do you get sponsored? Higher gear ratios are always more fun to drive, 100%. Perfect example was Kevin's Integra that I drove. It was K24 bottom, K20 head, but he had a higher gear ratio in it, so it was always in power, and I was always revving to the sky in it. In my opinion, higher gear ratios are more fun, but you sacrifice gas mileage. Crown Vics, I've actually gotten offered quite a few Crown Vics, so I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose one. As for sponsorships, I made an entire video about it, so I'll definitely make sure to put a card or some link in the description. You plan on getting any new to you cars sometime soon? Maybe some Doritos, as it rotaries, okay? Also, would you consider doing a Bladed Angel collab? What happened to the white drift car? When did you get your Mustang? Could you shout me out? I never get a shout out, please. You know what, I'll just get yours out of the way. Dakota Ash, shout out for you, buddy. What happened to the white drift car? You'll see, it's gonna be a 10 episode series whenever it gets finished. As in new cars for me right now, I already have 4 project cars that I'm literally losing sleep over, which it doesn't look like on camera, but the amount of behind the scenes preparation I'm doing is so stressful. It really is, to the point where I almost gave up on the drift car. It's that bad. Will you do more car builds in the future? Maybe collabs with Mighty Car Mods and Racer Miata? What has it taken over a year to build a 2J? LOL. I would love to do more collabs. Oh yeah, by the way, Bladed Angel. Yes, I've talked to him at Caffeine Octane. Cool dude. I'd love to do something with him. As in Mighty Car Mods, I met Marty at SEMA one year very briefly, and he was a pretty chill dude. I don't know about doing collabs because he's so far away, but if they invited me, absolutely. Racer Miata, also met him. I would love to do something with this Miata with the SR in it. That was really cool. When you do YouTube, for example, you have a duty to your viewers. and you understand that and you get stuff done. But the amount of hoops and red tape I have had to go through with my project cars other than the Mustang is unacceptable. For example, my rear diffuser for my Integra has taken 3 months to ship. It's just like with the 240, you remember when I tried to go twin turbos? Those people lost my turbos, didn't even know I put the order in, and then 4 months later, still didn't ship me the turbos. Like, that's the stuff that keeps happening to me, and it's BS, honestly. What got you into cars? Fast and Furious, Need for Speed, and my uncle. First off, congrats on 1 million. I've been a fan for years. Whenever you started your channel, did you ever see yourself where you are now? And if it wasn't for YouTube, do you have any other idea where you'd be right now? I'd probably be working in a film studio because that's what my degree is for, or be doing a different YouTube channel of a different subject, probably history or something like that, because I love history. I love talking about history and I totally nerd out about it. For your first car, should you get a Mustang GT or, like you, an Acura Integra? How do you feel about the car industry is going with electric instead of keeping gasoline engines? What keeps you hungry? What motivates you to do what you do and keep going for more? I would go with the Integra as your first car first. Less horsepower and you get used to it quicker. Mustang GT with 400 horsepower is a little too much for a first car, in my opinion. As for the electric cars, I just did a video on that, so another link in the description below. What keeps you hungry? I would say waking up in the morning and realizing that I got nowhere else to go. Just kidding. What keeps me hungry is just knowing what the future can be, the potential of my future, especially bringing Patterson Car Care into my life and developing a company with Fonzie from Rip Your Car, who was one of my heroes growing up. That's what keeps me hungry, is because it gives me a new drive to do something different and also maintain doing YouTube. And Patterson Car Care has opened a whole bunch of doors for me that never would have happened otherwise, and I'm thankful that you guys accepted it. And Patterson Car Care is finally growing, and that's what's so amazing. So thank you to everybody who has given the product a chance. What's the most heartwarming moment you've had in the car scene? New Edge versus Fox Body. Would you ever do 24 hours of lemons with your friends? I had a viewer who was sick and she had all my merch. So I was in Roanoke, Virginia filming a few car reviews, and I hit up her dad and said, hey, do you mind if I stop by? And I opened the door and she was wearing her Smurf Nation t-shirt, which was one of my first t-shirts. And she just lit up like a light bulb, and I borderline lost it. I borderline almost wanted to cry because she was so happy to see me. And that's one of the best memories I've ever had, ever. And I ended up seeing them at more events as well. And so shout out to you guys. One of the best moments of my life. It's one of those things where you're like, wow, people really do care about what I do in a positive way, and that my positive message might be making a difference for people. New Edge versus Fox Body. Fox Body as a platform is probably a little bit better, but the New Edge is newer, so you might not have as many problems. As for 24 hours of lemons, 100%. I would absolutely love doing that since I've done the beater car trip before, so I have no excuse. What car do you regret selling, and would you buy it back if given the chance? 350Z or 300ZX? Ever planning on getting a new Mustang? I regret selling my first car, kind of. I mean, it was a much better journey with my black car, the first Mustang. After that. But if I could find my first car, I'm actually in talks with maybe trying to hunt it down. And if I could find my first car, that would be so legit. 350Z or 300ZX. 350Z is a better bang for your buck, but the 300ZX has a cooler legacy in my opinion. As for getting a new Mustang, I'm thinking about it. I've always thought about it, but I'm just gonna see how the GT500 goes and maybe wait a couple years and see if that price drops. Have you ever heard of the Barra Ford engine in all of its glory? Did you ever consider quitting YouTube? The Barra engine is something I would love to do a project with. I absolutely love the Barra engine. As for quitting YouTube, I think this is kind of something we talked about earlier. Quitting YouTube is something that is extremely hard to kind of fathom when you've done it for so long. It has given me such joy in my life overall, but a lot of stress, but mostly joy, that I just don't see myself quitting anytime soon. Even though viewership for me, admittedly, is very up and down, it still isn't enough to make me go, wow, I need to quit. It's just not there. Will you ever come to Ireland? Have you ever gotten stuck in the middle of a road with a broken car? I would love to come to Ireland and see your guys' drift scene. I've heard great things about it. And I have been stuck in the middle of the road with a broken car, and it is absolutely miserable. It happened to me during the beater car road trip, and it was just a wonderful experience. How does it feel to have multiple broken cars? It absolutely sucks to have multiple broken cars because I always loved switching things up going to events. I always loved having that capability of showing off, not showing off, but bringing happiness to people in multiple different genres of cars, because some people love the Integra, some people love the 240, and some people love Smurf. Are you planning on any international trips, perhaps Puerto Rico? What would you tell a buyer on the fence between supercharging a 2011 S187 V6 or Mustang or buying a 2011 Plus GT? Puerto Rico, I am going to, at the end of the month, add Tuner Evo Puerto Rico, so I'll see you there. And as for the Mustang, save up for the GT. Your life's gonna be a lot easier. You're gonna be just as fast, if not faster, than the supercharged V6, and it's gonna be more reliable. Being a part of the domestic and import car scene, what major differences do you see? The major differences is ease of platforms, ease of building the car to be faster, and the scene is much more of a mix of younger and older. I actually find the domestic scene to be more socially acceptable, to be honest. If you go to Mustang Week, I know Mustang Week has a pretty bad reputation online for the crashes and everything, but the community is so cool because you'll be in line, and I was in line behind this one guy my first year in 2013, and he had a Fox Body SVO. He was this older guy named Wayne, I believe, and he put a Coyote with a Whipple on it. And the guy behind me was 16 and just got his license, and he is just starting his build. And that's not me pooping on the import scene. I'm just saying that it's easier, I think, to get into the domestic scene socially acceptably, if that makes sense. Along with that, it's a lot cheaper to do. You pay more up front for the car itself, but it's a lot cheaper to do in the end. The import stuff, people are more intimidated by the nighttime car meets that are more common with those. And as well as, say, the drift scene or something like that, you have to really work into that scene. Are you happy with where your channel is right now in terms of content and viewership numbers? Personally, I think your content is really good, but the viewership just isn't there despite the 1 million subscribers, which is disappointing because you deserve better numbers. Honestly, you hit the nail right on the head. I would say that it's hard to fathom when you work for almost 10 years and you're kind of back where you started. This isn't me complaining. I just want to make this very clear. I think a big thing that happened with everything was when the bell was introduced. When they brought in the bell of the notification system and all that, that completely destroyed half of my channel. And of course, there's gonna be people in the comments saying, I just don't watch you anymore because I don't like your content anymore. That's fine. But when it comes to actually distributing the content, I feel like it's pretty inconsistent compared to when it used to be. And I've had friends like Motion Auto TV and Zosh or Percy and a whole bunch of other YouTube friends saying, I never see your stuff in the recommended. I never see it in my sub box. My own parents actually got unsubscribed from my YouTube channel, and I've actually talked to YouTube personally, and they just blow me off. So it's really frustrating after talking to them so many times, sending in data. I've actually taken polls on Twitter and taken polls all over the place, and it's shown that almost half my audience doesn't even see the video come out. That's why I kind of have to enforce that it comes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It's hard to not be hard on yourself. It's hard to not be hard on yourself and thinking there's something wrong with you. Now, it's not a deterrent of me keeping going, but it's a worry. It's definitely a worry. The truth of the matter is, you never really know what video is gonna be a hit. You never really know which video is gonna basically take off. And there's this rule of thumb that all YouTubers kind of have. It's like, just film everything because you just don't know. When it comes to the actual viewership numbers, am I happy about it? Absolutely not. But when it comes to people who are still here and still support me and still root for me and still do all of that, I cannot complain. I have no right to complain about that because I'm still allowed, essentially, to do what I do. What are your thoughts on hate in the car community? This one's a really good one. My friends over at Gears and Gasoline did an amazing video on this. They actually drove all the way down to Georgia to get my opinion on it. So make sure to check out Gears and Gasoline. They're amazing people. My theory about hate in the car community is that you, just like anything, you just can't really take it too seriously. But there is a lot of unnecessary. There's always the trash talking during racing and stuff. That's always going to happen. There's no way around it because we're dudes and there's testosterone and all that in us. But at the same time, when you walk up to somebody's car right to their face and you're like, this thing sucks, why? Why do you say that? You could totally be like, it's not my thing, but hey, congrats on your car. That's the better approach. And with that, guys, I'm gonna close out this video. I wanna thank each and every one of you for watching this and sticking around and hanging out with me. Thank you to all 1 million subscribers who have stayed with me since 2011. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I will see you guys next time.
Go.